It's the Joseph Bristol Show.
Welcome to another episode of the Joseph Bristol Show. On today's episode, I actually want to talk about, relationships, really. So what we're going to talk about is more so like things that I have learned over the last year from being single. So I'm not in a relationship, but I have learned a lot. I read, a lot of self-help books, and I actually like self-help books a lot. And one of the recent self-help books that I've been reading is In the Meantime. It is a relationship self-help book. So I just want to talk about a couple of things that I have learned that I think that other people can really benefit from if you're in a relationship or if you want to be in one in the future. These are just things that I think we should all learn. But first, I want to get into the giveaway. Right, so the way that we're going to do these giveaways is just leave a comment on the video, like the video, and then I will pick from the comments on who the winner is. And for this week's winner, or this segment's winner, and we'll pick a winner every time I drop a new video. So I'll make the video, announce what the prizes are, and then in the next video that I make, I will pick from the comments of the previous video, and then that person will win. So this winner is going to be Maribel Mendoza. That's going to be my winner. So I'm going to go ahead and message him, and hopefully get back to me with shipping information, and I will ship him out his josephrbristol custom-made t-shirt by Vibrant Styles. You can find the link in the description of this video on Instagram so you can order your own custom-made t-shirts for a very reasonable price. All right, so this is what I want to get into as far as relationships are concerned. One of the first things that I want to establish before we even go any further is that a relationship is not the end-all be-all to your life. It does not define you in any way, shape, or form. It is simply just something that you're doing with your life. Just like a job doesn't define you, going to school doesn't define you, your sexual actions with another person do not define you as a person. They are just portions of who you are as a person. So relationships being by itself is great, it's wonderful. Companionship, humans need it, they want it, they desire it, but there are different forms of companionships. There are different types of relationships. Some of the greatest people in history, whether male or female, were people who were not in relationships, and they were never in a relationship. They never had kids. Some of the greatest people in history, you can look it up, they were single, and there's nothing wrong with being single. So I just wanted to start off with that, because I find that in our society, specifically American society, we're under the impression that you have to be in a relationship, you have to get married, you have to have kids in order to have some type of purpose or meaning to your life, and that's just not true. You really don't. It's okay to be single. It's okay to not have children. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. With that being said, though, as a natural part of life, because remember, when we think about life, we're thinking about it from a spiritual standpoint. Yes, we're physical beings, but our spirit is what dictates our existence. And from a spiritual standpoint, from a natural spiritual standpoint, procreation is the purpose of life. So you and I would not be here. You literally wouldn't be here looking at this video if somebody did not make you, if somebody did not procreate with another person, in which case we're talking male and female gendered people who have semen and people who have eggs. These people had to combine in order for you to be here, or else you would not be here. It's that simple. So I'm not knocking anybody for their sexual preferences, but let's be serious. If your parents were whatever it is that you are, if you're not heterosexual, then you wouldn't be here. So that's important to note. And of course, everything in life is trying to live. It's trying to create more of itself. Plants, animals, insects, sea life, humans, everything wants to make more. It wants to procreate. It wants to carry on its genes. It wants to push on to the next generation. Everything. There's nothing on this planet that doesn't. Even trees come in male and female. That's why some trees bear fruit and others don't. Some trees have seeds and others don't. That's just how the natural way of life works, all right? So having kids is not the end all be all, but having kids is a very important aspect of life. And with that being said, maybe it's not your destiny to have children. That's okay too, but it may be your destiny to raise children, right? Because it takes a village to raise a child. Raising a child is not a solo dolo thing. A single mom is, yes, she's single, but she's not raising that kid by herself. You know, she has family and friends and aunts and uncles and people who help her. She drops off her kid to the daycare. The stranger at the school is helping her. So no one is raising a human being by themselves. It takes multiple people, all right? So let's get into the details of this whole thing, right? One of the things that I want to start off with is that love requires vulnerability. So you should follow your heart, like 100%. Follow your gut, follow your heart. If there's no such thing as over loving. Well, let's start off with this. The first thing is loving God, your creator, your higher power. Loving your higher power first, then loving yourself, and from loving yourself, then you love others, right? So with that being said, love requires vulnerability, true love, open love, full, fulfilling love. It requires vulnerability. You have to be willing to open your heart to the possibility that, yes, this other person that you're giving love to may not reciprocate. They may not give you love back. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that your love is lacking. That doesn't mean that they're a nasty person or a bad person. What it means is that they don't want to reciprocate your love. Maybe they don't know how. Maybe they are doing it in a way that they think that love is. So you might think that love is, spending a bunch of money on somebody. And to them, love is, cooking a good meal for you. They don't have money. They've never known love to be about spending money. To them, love is about doing things for people, cooking food, sewing clothes, washing clothes, repolstering the furniture, things like that. That's how they think love is. Some people think that love is just physicalness, sex and kissing and holding hands and those type of things, but they don't do anything for you. They don't cook, they don't clean, they don't buy you nothing, but they're always physically affectionate with you. So what I'm trying to say is that we can't say that they don't love us. We can only say that they don't love us in the way that we want to be loved, in which case that should not deter you from being vulnerable with your love. It's not a weakness to openly love somebody, to be loving, to be caring, to be vulnerable with somebody. That's not a weakness. Yeah, there are times that you may look silly to other people, so people will look and say, oh my God, that guy is such a fool for staying with her. Look how she cheated on him. You're not a fool. You are somebody who's openly loving. Now the question is, how much of this pain do you take? When is your love of somebody else becoming a self-destructive thing? That's when you have to say, okay, this is enough. I have to pull back my love. I have to stop loving you, because loving you is hurting me, and hurting myself is not what God wants us to do. Because remember, again, we're spiritual beings, and loving God comes first, and then loving ourselves comes next, and then loving other people. Like, if you can't save a drowning man if you're drowning, you know what I mean? So you need to be secure in yourself and in your love. But I really think it's important that we openly love and we follow our gut. Let's say you meet somebody, and I don't know, the first 3 days you feel like you love them. That's okay. Tell them, hey, I love you. So some people say, oh my God, that's crazy, and you sound crazy. No, that's their fear. That's them putting their limitation of love on you. Don't let them do that to you. You can meet somebody and it's love at first sight. You can see somebody and be like, yo, I really like the way this person looks. I like the sound of their voice. I like the feeling that they give me when I'm around them, when I see them, when I hear their name, when I look at them. I want more. I want more. I want to be around them more. I want to talk to them more. I want to be with them. If that's not love, I don't know what love is. You know what I mean? What is that, obsession? You're just obsessed with somebody? Lust? Desire? Are these not just lower base forms of love? They are. They are. Because just because you're lusting after someone doesn't mean you don't necessarily have a lower base form of love. Right? So there are levels to love, different kinds of love. There's like agape, and then there's like a bunch of other ones, eos or ethos. I can't remember, but there's different kinds of love. In which case, again, be open with your love. Don't be afraid because other people put limitations on your love. People will say, oh, you're rushing into it, or oh, you don't know this person, or you remember last time you got hurt when so-and-so did this. Nah, don't let that limit you. Don't let that stop your willingness to give love, because as long as you're willing to give it, believe me, you will receive it. You may not receive it from the person that you want, but it will come back to you, because that's the way the universe works. You give and so you get. But I just have to emphasize that openly loving, being vulnerable in your love is not a weakness. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. You know what I mean? You can be scared, but just because you're scared doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? So you love this woman for 10 years and you find out that, you know, the 3 kids that you had with her are not your kids. They're somebody else's children. That doesn't take away the love that you gave her. That doesn't take away the good times that you had with her. Yeah, it hurts because she lied and pretended, and that hurts. But that doesn't change the fact that you still had good times with her, that you were open with your love. You were vulnerable. You were honest. You did the right things. I'm not going to say it was for the wrong person, but it was for somebody who wasn't ready for that type of love at that time. They were still practicing a different kind of love, different from yours. And that's okay too, because that goes into the next thing, that how people treat you, you shouldn't take it personally. It's not necessarily about you. It's more of a reflection of them, more of a reflection of how they perceive love, of how they understand love and relationships and connections to others. You know what I mean? So again, you're loving this woman, you're treating her good, and she is just like cheating and calling you names and lashing out every time, and she come home and get mad and leave out for hours and comes back and is in good mood. That's not you. That's her. She's got something wrong with her. Maybe she didn't get enough love as a child. Maybe somebody hurt her in her past and she's holding on to that and just projecting that onto you, because people do that. Remember, our love is something that we experience growing up in life. We become who we are based on our experiences. A lot of times people don't have forgiveness. They don't know how to let things go, so they harbor it, they hold on to it. And these things shape their personalities. They make them bitter, angry. And so when they meet other people, that bitterness, that angriness, that guard is still up. It's still there. So guess what they do? They treat you that way. They lash out against you. You know, I've met many of people who have been hurt in the past, and then they meet me, and I'm not really trying to hurt them. I'm trying to better them. I'm trying to see them win, because if you're winning, I'm winning. At least that's how I look at any type of companionship, relationship, friendship. I don't care what it is. If you winning, I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? If we on the same team. So I'm always trying to improve you. But if this person has been hurt before and you come along trying to treat them good, they might just lash out at you because they don't know no better. And that's a natural thing in nature. You can look at a dog who's been beaten on numerous times and locked in cages, and you know what I'm saying, and now the dog has been abandoned. And you come along, you see this dog, you know, okay, this dog looks like it's in pain. Clearly the dog is hurting, and you want to help the dog. You think that dog is just going to instantly, oh yeah, come and help me. No, the dog starts barking and he's scared. The dog don't know what you're going to do to it. It doesn't know your intentions. So no matter how much you keep saying, hey, I'm just here to help, baby. Oh, calm down. At first, the dog is going to be aggressive, but give it some time. Keep showing that love, that kindness, and the dog will calm down. The dog will come around. You know what I'm saying? It will give you back the love that you're giving it. It's just a natural part of life. So don't ever take somebody hurting you as a reflection on you. Oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not this. Maybe I'm ugly, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I don't know. Whatever it is that you're thinking is wrong with you because somebody hurt you. That's not the case. Sometimes it is. I mean, it could just be that, but most of the time that's not the case. Almost always, it's just a reflection of the other person. The other person is literally lashing out on you because they may not know any better. They don't know how to deal with their hurt and pain. But then that kind of goes into the next thing, which is knowing your value. Knowing your value, right? So you have to know your value by knowing your worth, knowing what you're bringing, right? So for example, let's say you are a splendid cook. You like cooking. And again, one of your love languages is cooking. So you believe, when I like a woman or I like a man, I like to cook for them. I want to cook them good meals. I like to learn what people like to eat, and I want to make that for you. I want to fill your stomach with joy and pleasure, right? That's your love language, right? So essentially, that's not your main value. That's not your only value, but that is a part of your worth. That's a part of your value. So when you're going out and you're talking to people, you're meeting people, you're trying to find a spouse, you have to keep in mind that, okay, what I'm bringing to the table is I like cooking for my person. I'm a big cooker. I'm a good cook. I've never been told I'm a bad cook. And this is my thing. So you meet somebody, they're talking to you, you know what I'm saying? You're feeling the vibe, and you then realize that, okay, this person isn't looking for someone to cook for them. That's not what they want. They want somebody who spends money on them. They want financial security. They want physical pleasure of the utmost. They want, I don't know, whatever else people want out of relationships. But whatever the person wants out of a relationship, that's what they're looking for. That's the value that they're trying to get from another person. So if you're not providing that value, then to them, you're worthless. You may not be worthless because, again, $100 bill in the hands of a bum is valued different from $100 bills in the hands of a millionaire. You know what I mean? So you have to know your value, your worth to that specific person in that situation, and what it is that they're looking for, and then what it is that they desire. Same thing. You know what you desire. You know what you want. You know what you're looking for. So if you meet somebody and their love language is spending money, but you want that physical affection, you're looking for somebody to hold your hand and kiss you and rub on you and give you physical bliss, clearly that's not going to work, because they're going to push their love language of spending money, and you're going to be looking for that love language of physical bliss. You know what I mean? It just won't work, because what you want is not what they're willing to give, and maybe what they want is not what you're willing to give. So you have to let that go. Every relationship is not a lifelong relationship. Some of them are just to teach you things so that you can learn about yourself or learn what you don't like. Which goes into one of the most important things about a relationship, any relationship, friendship, family, love, I don't care what it is. Know the do's and don't focus on the don'ts. So you have to know what you want. Again, what do I want? I want you to do this. I want you to do that. Don't worry about what you don't want them to do. Oh, I don't want you to cheat. I don't want you to lie to me. I don't want you to I don't know, spend my money. Great. You don't want that. Well, what do you want? I mean, one of the things that I always hated as a kid, and I intentionally don't do this to my kids, is I don't tell them what not to do. You know what I mean? I only tell them what to do. So I try not to ever say, don't do this or don't do that. I don't want you going here. I don't want you doing this. Instead, I just tell them what I do want them to do. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. I want you to focus on this. And when they say, well, I want to do this other thing, that's when I'm like, okay, that don't make me happy. Instead, do this. And it's the same thing in a relationship, in a companionship, in any type of connection to another person. Who cares about what you don't want? I don't want you to cheat. What do you want me to do? You want me to be loyal? Okay, why? Show me. Teach me. and instruct me on how to be loyal, consume my time so much that I'm unable to do the don'ts, that I must do the do's, because every ounce of my time is consumed because you filled it up with what you want me to do. You see what I'm saying? It's like a boss, right? You're at work and your boss is like, yo, do this thing. And you go and you start doing the thing, but you finish it really fast. And the boss, he's thinking it's gonna take you 30 minutes to do this thing, but it doesn't take you 30 minutes, it only takes you 5. Now you're just chilling. You're gonna do whatever you wanna do. It's not your problem that you ain't working. That's the boss's problem. If he would have gave you more things to do, then you would not have done whatever it is that you want to do. You would still be doing what it is that he wants you to do because he filled up your time with things to do. So don't focus on the don'ts. Focus on the do's. What do you want this person to do? But you can only focus on the do's when you know what you want from the relationship. What do you want? You want financial security so you don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to have a roof over my head? Focus on that. Don't worry about what you don't like. Focus on that. You know what I mean? One of the things that I think about, like back in the days, and I was speaking to my cousin about this too, like the do's and the don'ts and things like that. And one of the things that he mentioned that made sense is that what happens to a lot of people is that they're too focused on the don'ts. They're too focused on the don'ts. And then what ends up happening is they lose their relationship and they're more unhappy alone than they were in their relationship. So yeah, I'm not happy that you're cheating on me, or that you eat Cheetos in the bed, or that you hit me, or whatever it is. The hitting part that's a little extreme. I mean, if you're beating on somebody, yeah, that's not a relationship that's gonna work, regardless if they're doing the do's. Physical violence is just not okay. It's not cool, but you get the point that I'm making. I'm just saying that if they're doing something that you don't like, right? And they're doing something that you don't like, but they're checking all the boxes on your do's, then you have to weigh out the options. Is it worth letting this go because of the couple of things that I don't like? You know what I mean? So I'll give you another example. One of the things that I had been talking to him about and thinking about was, I was like, yo, if you're dating a porn star, right, or a prostitute, and let's say you see her do something with a client, and or like I said, a porn star, they do something with a client, then I would be like, and then you say to them, yo, I want you to do that thing with me. And they turn to you and they say, no, I don't like doing that. I only do it because it's my job, but I don't want to do that. Now that puts you in a predicament where it becomes, well, what do you do? Because you want this thing. But the question becomes then, do you want this thing, or are you trying to dominate and control the other person? So for me, I was trying to dominate and control the other person because I was saying, yo, they have to do the thing that I saw them do because I know that they do it. I don't care that they don't want to do it. You do it with them, you're going to do it with me. Or you don't care. And I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? You don't care. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? You don't care about me like you claim you do. But then my cousin pointed out to me, well, that's you just being selfish and trying to control this other person. Because what do you want? Do you want them to do this thing? Or do you want to control them? Right? Because if they say, I don't want to do that, I only do it because it's my job, now the conversation has to become, well, here's money, do it for me, in which case I would still leave because you basically bought the person and anyone can buy them. They'll do anything with anybody for the money. Or the conversation becomes, well, I think you need a new job because if you don't like doing that thing, but you're doing it anyway for the money, then let go of the job and we'll find another job making similar money or different money or more money, or I'll pay your bills and you don't have to do that anymore. Now you put it on the person to decide, are they going to continue doing this thing that you don't like, or are they going to change their behavior to make you happy? But you have to know, what is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you're looking for? So again, back to our example, I was trying to control the person because it's not, for me, it's not about whether they want to do it or not. It's more so, I want you to do this thing. I expect you to do this thing that I want you to do. Because if you do it for others, you're going to do it for me. But like he said, you don't want the thing. You just want to know that the person is willing to do this thing for you. And another thing that he pointed out to me was, who cares what they're doing for other people? That got nothing to do with you. In a relationship, in your home, that's supposed to be your sanctuary, your safe haven, your happy place. So if, and I'll give you a better example, one that I can personally relate to. When I go to work, I might seem like a very, very friendly person. Laugh, giggle, talk. Hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. All that good jazz. How's your kids? Oh, you mentioned you want to go to school. How's school? Blah, blah, blah. It's great. That's because I'm at work. And so I feel forced to socialize. I'm out in the public. But when I get home, I may not want to talk. I don't want to talk. So when I get into the house and my wife is there, she might want to talk. But she's going to understand he don't want to talk because he's been talking all day. So when I turn to her and I'm like, yo, man, I'm not really in the mood to talk right now. And she says to me, well, you talk to other people. You're always talking to other people. Yeah, because I have to talk to them. But I'm home now, and you're supposed to be my woman. I don't feel like talking. You shouldn't make me do this thing that I don't want to do. I only do it because I have to do it out there. But now I'm home. This is my sanctuary. Don't force me to do something that I don't want to do. I'm already doing that out in the world. So it's just something that I really thought about. And maybe I have to break this video into multiple parts and we can talk more about this, but this is just something that I think we should all like really slow down and just think about while in relationships. I know I touched on a lot of different subjects, in which case I just couldn't help it. I was actually going to make this like a 10-minute video, but there was a lot to talk about. There was a lot of things to mention that I had to mention. So maybe I'll make this another part, add on to it, and we can just keep on talking. But leave your comments below about your thoughts on relationships, focusing on the do's and the don'ts, and how you try to maintain a healthy and constructive relationships. And of course, leave your thoughts on what it is that I said. If you agree or disagree, the parts that you agree with, let me know. We can have more of a discussion. You know what I mean? And of course, like and comment on the video more so for the giveaway. I'm still having it. I'm going to be giving away more shirts. I got more to give away, so I'll be picking the next comment in the next video. And y'all just remember, man, we all out here trying to do the same thing. Just be happy and survive. Y'all stay blessed.